When I started recording these first few clips, I expected this to just be a nice little video about G-scale trains. I didn't even know if I would post this on YouTube. But then we got the Eggliner running. So for those who don't know me, I mostly just model O and HO scale, and while I've known about G for a long time, the only G-scale item I've had is an Eggliner, which I got many years ago, and I have never seen running until now. Recently, a fellow railfan friend told me about a G-scale model railroad club that was meeting in Nebraska City, so I decided to go check it out, and I'm glad I did. The layout was very nice, all of the guys were nice, and of course I got to see my Eggliner not just running, but highballing and possibly breaking a few speed limits for the first time. Don't worry, I was allowed to do this, so yeah, don't try this at home, kids. But this turned out to be a very interesting video, so enjoy this little bit of G-scale shenanigans that we were up to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to speed up a lot. You're rail fanning and you see this. What are you doing?
We tore down several decks the last couple of
Or a train get nicked for speeding.
That's why I was saying, dang it, you won. You won the race. I paid for the whole speedometer. I'm going to use the whole speedometer. Bye-bye!
As we were getting close to wrapping up our little operating session, we heard about some pretty interesting news which kind of changed the course of the day. A little bit south of Nebraska City is the town of Falls City, where the BNSF St. Joe subdivision crosses over Union Pacific's Falls City subdivision, which heads north to Omaha. And it was here that we found out that a northbound Union Pacific train was coming our way. So we decided to run a few more laps with our trains, pack them up, and head into town to catch whatever train this was. And we figured that this is not a very busy line. I mean, it's rural, it's single-tracked. Union Pacific has much busier lines around this area than the Falls City subdivision. So we figured it was probably just going to be a grain train or a manifest or something like that. It was an intermodal, a long intermodal with mid-DPUs that was already passing through town once we got to it. On the bright side, we did get some good pacing shots of it, and we were planning to catch up to the front later on in the road and see the whole train go by. But as we were planning to do this, we found out that this just happened to be the day that a nearby orchard was holding some kind of event. And so we got stuck in a bunch of traffic, and basically, long story short, we weren't catching that sack train. So after this, we just turned around and took a bit of a closer look at the Falls City subdivision. While I had known about this line for a while, I had never seen it really, so it was pretty cool to see all of the older crossings and other parts of it, just up close and all that. And there were several other locomotives around Nebraska City that we had been planning to see anyway, so we drove down to catch those while we were at it. And let me tell you, even though we missed out on that stack train, don't worry, we made up for it.
What in the heck?
Okay, now this changes. Now I have seen a UP Heritage unit.
Yay, congrats.
And then right after we were going to take a closer look at that,
Oh shoot!
Go back.
Yeah!
so a lot that went on in just a few seconds. 1982 is here, and there's these locomotives that we're trying to see now. Those two engines are some EMD SD9s that were built all the way back in the 1950s for the Southern Pacific, and one of them is still in its I&M rail link paint scheme. We were planning to see these anyway, but we did not know that they would be under power, hence why we were in a rush to catch them. And after these SD9s reversed to do some work, we headed back to the catch of the day, Union Pacific 1982, the Missouri Pacific Heritage Unit. I have no idea what it was doing here, and it has been quite weathered, but man, this was a catch for both of us. I have seen this unit before, but only when it was on display at events and never out in the open. So yeah, this was quite the catch for the both of us. And as you'd expect, we got a lot of good shots of it, just sitting here for some reason, but you know what, it was there. And after getting a look at some of these, we just decided to head to a few more little railroad spots. For one, we got a look at the flyover, where the Falls City subdivision goes under BNSF's Arbor Line. And finally, to end off the day, we took a quick look at the Nebraska City Station, which is now an Italian restaurant with a caboose in the back. And that was about it for this very action-packed day. Wasn't perfect, but definitely very memorable. While this was a great day and everything, I couldn't help but still wonder about that stack train we saw, like where it was heading and what locomotives were on it. But thanks to the innovation that is rail cams, I was able to find out. As I mentioned, the Falls City subdivision goes up to Omaha, so that train went there before heading east into Iowa by night. It passed through the town of Grand Mound at 4:38 the following morning and made it into Rochelle, Illinois at around 7:30. Here it seemed to work at the Global 3 Intermodal facility, which is here, before continuing on to Chicagoland. I couldn't really find where this train originated, but my best guess is somewhere in California, as I did see that it passed through New Mexico at one point. As for the locomotives, the lead unit was a former Dash 9 rebuild, but the rest of the engines were just your standard Union Pacific yellow. The mid-DPUs, which we did see, were 7328, a AC 4460, and 6564, a solid AC 4400. The total length of this train? Approximately 12,000 feet. Quite a monster to see rolling through small-town America, even if we only caught a small part of it.